Oh, hey, you're here. You're just a hair earlier than I was expecting, but I think I can bring you on in and like catch you up to speed. You see, a few years back, I decided I wanted to start a YouTube channel, and it was really simple, just me in my 1-bedroom apartment learning to make videos. And that's kind of how we ended up right here. And if you can't already tell, we're no longer in that apartment. Now, like I said, building this studio has been my dream for probably 7 or 8 years. And I genuinely want to be able to do everything in here. I want to film, I want to make content. I want to play guitar really loud like this, with no neighbors to ever call the cops on me. And all of that essentially starts with this 15 by 10.5 foot space in my house that we're hopefully gonna turn into, well, a studio. All right, so today is day one, and basically what I want to address is like the aesthetic and maybe get to like the general layout, which basically means I want to paint this wall blue. I've never painted anything before, so let's see how this goes. This is probably going to be the hardest part because everything else is just like building, but again, I've never done this, so let's do it. So I ran out of paint like halfway through. I found some newer paint that matched it. There's apparently one coat, so we're gonna try and figure this out again. So the accent wall is officially done. We're just gonna try and clean this place up a little bit before we put the rug down later today. Maybe do a couple other things. So getting the wall done and the carpet down, that's absolutely huge. And now I can just focus on the layout and what this thing is actually gonna look like. And I'm gonna start to build everything, bring everything in. So let's do this. So the first thing, I want a place where people can be able to like sit if they're helping me make videos or just to jam. So my friends who I was staying with and making videos at their place very graciously donated their couch. So we're gonna put that on the other side of the blue wall, see what happens. Would you look at that, guys? We finally have a couch. Finally somewhere to sit before the actual desk comes in later this week, but more on that in a minute. Now we have to focus on where I'm actually gonna put my stuff, specifically the actual amps and the guitars, and that's where we're gonna turn to this blue wall right here. The combo amps are like fine to go on the floor all over the place or in the closet over there, but for specifically the amp heads and like the aux box, which I want to keep continuously just in one spot, that's where we need an amp shelf, and that's what we got here. Here it is, and it's done. We're gonna put it against the blue wall, see what happens. Now that this is done, we can finally start on the guitar racks. I'm getting excited. I'm starting to feel it a little more now. It is really starting to come together, but the one problem now that we have to fix is, well, the lighting. So here's the deal. The curtains finally came today. The desk finally came today. I have pretty much everything that's going to go into this studio, and I want to get it all done today. But first, we're going to start with the curtains. Go 3 exactly. So I finished the curtains. Now the very last thing, just brought up the boxes, is the desk. So let's see how this goes. The table. The base part of the table is officially done. Now we're gonna try and put the racks on top and do the corner piece. Again, we're gonna try and get it done today, but that's what I said yesterday. No way, dude, you're back. And literally like just in time. We legitimately just finished the whole space last night. I can actually give you the tour if you want. So like, come on in, let me show you. No, dude, come on, let's go. So guys, this is it, it's official. This is the space. And like I said in the beginning of the video, it is very much a long time coming, not just in the building of this space, like I just previously showed you, but I've known I was moving the studio in here for probably 6.5 months. And I think it's time I show you like the individual elements, like not just how we built something, but why, and how everything's actually gonna work from here on out. So here's how it works. You see, this all sort of starts at the top back corner of the accent wall, where I really wanted to show off some stuff that I love that's not necessarily guitar related. Stuff like basketball and anime. But once we get to the bottom of that section, well, that's when we get to the combo amps, which is very important. I have all the heads on the shelf next, which we'll get to in a second, but just for the purposes of this room specifically, being able to play my amps as loud as I want at 3 in the morning, these are those amps that I will be playing at 3 in the morning. That's really important because I want to be able to walk into this room, just flick on the switch, get out a guitar and just be able to go, whether that be recording or just like jamming and learning to like play at louder volumes. And the really cool thing is that I can have more than one amp here. Currently I have the Tone King, the Blues Junior, and the Supro, but depending on what I'm going to be making videos about or just using for different sessions, like anything can go here. Maybe I can stack them, just see what happens. But up next, this right here is the Rab Audio Pro Rack. And what I used to have was on my desk a section that would pull out that was all of my pedals. And then I had all my different amp heads just literally surrounding my bed because I had no other space to put them. But with this, even though I don't have a lot of my amp heads on this, I have pretty much all of my pedals. And then I have the aux box next to an amp head. And I don't know if you can see it, but here on the bottom, I also keep an amp head. So I want them to consistently be plugged into the aux box, just in case there is a scenario that I want to, like, instead of miking them up like the combo amps next to them, I want to get them going digitally. And I can just have the aux box up top. I can have an amp right here. I can have all of my pedals ready to go through. And that's really, really exciting because outside of just having them on my desk, I also had a big box that was just full of my pedals and I didn't know where to get which one. So right next to the shelf, closer to the desk, we have probably one of the most important parts of this whole room. And that's where the actual guitars go, like the guitar racks. I have 6 to a rack. And in my old space, it was very, very difficult because I had a bunch of cases that were just sort of lying next to my kitchen, both hard shell and soft shell. And this just allows me to be able to reach over and grab whatever guitar I need. And it's like, okay, let's start recording. Let's start making a video immediately. And the really cool thing is actually that it is the same exact thing on the other side of the room. Whether I reach left or right, it's like, okay, what guitar do I need? What guitar am I filming with today? And once I can grab it, I can take it back to the desk or I can take it over to the couch, which has a really cool story. Because while I was in between spots, like I said before, I had a 2-week period where I was like, I don't know where I'm going to live. And my friends from church so graciously were like, come live with us. Not only that, but if you want to come and like record any of your videos here, you can do that. And not only that, in like the most gracious act of kindness ever, while I was staying there, they were like, hey man, you're moving to your new spot. Do you like want our couch? And I was like just to keep. And so that's literally how we ended up getting the couch here. And don't get it twisted. The couch is one of the most important parts of this entire room. I want people to be able to just like grab a guitar. We can sit here, we can jam together. I can have like clients or friends who want to record. I can just plug them in right here and we can riff and do whatever. But the place where we're going to be riffing from, where I'm going to be sitting, is probably the most important part of the whole room. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the desk. And the desk is the centerpiece of this whole operation. I mean, the whole room kind of revolves around this piece of wood right here. I originally got the idea from a YouTube guitarist by the name of Joseph De La Victoria, who is in fact a better guitarist than probably I could ever dream of being. A lot of his stuff really inspires me. I was originally going to put the racks right here because this is the Gator Elite Frameworks desk. I saw it on his page and I was like, that's really cool. It comes with these 2 top racks, but I kind of like the simplistic nature of it without it. Specifically on this desk and how it works, I think is the really cool part because it's not just wood in my laptop. The way it works is, so right here, starting point, I have my MIDI. So this is my Novation Mark IV. It's got 61 keys and you're like, Mike, this is a guitar studio, not a piano studio. But I do make a lot of backing tracks and from time to time I make backing tracks for videos and also just drum tracks to riff to. And the cool thing is, the reason why I wanted a MIDI specifically like this is because of the faders. When I'm making said backing tracks, if I have a guitar track that I recorded, I can bring it up or down without ever having to touch my keyboard, and that is very useful to me. But one of the really cool things, especially once you're looking from this vantage point of the room, is that now I have enough space where I can keep my mic and my mic stand here at all times. One of the other really downsides about the small space that I was in before is that I would always have to take out my mic and repack it and take it out whenever I needed to record an acoustic guitar or whatnot. But now with the guitar racks right here, it's pretty much just as simple as, oh, my mic's already here. Let me just put it down. Let me grab an acoustic, and everything's just there and ready to go. Now, the other side of the desk is where it gets really cool, because that's where I decided to put the side card with the racks. It actually came with two. I just decided to use one of them, and that's where I have my power supply at the very bottom, but I'll show you right here. That's also where the interface is gonna live, and I just got the PreSonus Quantum HD8. I was using a PreSonus interface way back in the day, 5 or 6 years ago, and it was good. I liked it. I've been using the Neve and the Apogee more recently, but this guy having 8 inputs allows me to have that mic I was just showing you over there consistently plugged in. It allows me to have the mics over there for the combo amps consistently plugged in, as well as the aux box and my guitars going direct in. But the big thing is right above that, doesn't have a rack mount space, but I do have a pullout for my quad cortex, which is always consistently plugged in stereo. So now, like I said before, I have the option with a click of a button to just go in right there, and I can go to my combo amps, or if I'm feeling like I need to get to something I modeled or something that I profiled, the quad cortex is right here and it slides out and it's right next to my desk. That I really love. I really do love it because I have all my presets, and even more than the combo amps, it's just like a plug and play right next to my desk, and it's like, okay, let's go. Now, the next thing on the studio list, which is vastly important, is once it's going out of the quad cortex into the quantum, where's that going out of? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we get our speakers. Now, the story with these goes that I had been doing a lot of different recording with my friend, another YouTuber, one of the all-time greats. His name is Jonathan Morrison. And every time we went anywhere to a mobile recording session, he usually uses the Genelex, but he had been talking all about these iLouds, and he brought them pretty much everywhere. And I started to really like them because I like them in these settings that were not treated at all, that they sounded really great. And so I was like, I'm gonna get a pair of iLouds. I'm gonna get a pair of really small ones, but then I found the Precision 5s, and these things, even in just a little recording that I've done so far, which is basically just electric guitars, they're on a completely different level than probably most speakers that I've ever had in my rooms before. And like I said, not having the 7-inch speaker, that was very big. This is a 15 by 11 room. I don't necessarily need a lot, a ton. I really just want good clear speakers to have my guitar tones come out of and mix sometimes. So that, ladies and gentlemen, in a nutshell, is the studio. It is a very long time dream of mine that I've been thinking about for so long. When's it actually going to happen? When am I going to finally be able to play guitar at 3 a.m. and just be able to really make some of the content and the music that I want to? And that all starts right here. And honestly, with all sincerity, I just want to say, if you watched even a single minute of any of my videos at my old apartment, thank you, because that's part of the drive that got me to right here where I am. And I feel like that drive is going to push me to make a lot more of the videos that I feel like I can make in the future, that I think will be 10 times higher quality, just because of the space we have right here and what's going to happen moving forward. But again, we've got some really, really exciting things coming. If you want to know anything more about the desk or the rack or the shelves or any of the other gear that I showed you in this video, I got it from the homies at Sweetwater. The link is in the description. Make sure to check it out. It's one of the best ways to support the channel if that's something you want to do, or if you're just curious about any of the other gear in this studio right here, make sure to check out those links. Like and subscribe if you had a good time, and most importantly, most important of all, welcome to the studio. Could somebody please get Andrew Masters on the phone for a proper studio tour?